You're live.
Hey everyone, my name is Debbie, and this is I'm here with Jay, and this is our show called Real People, Real Stories Raw, and we have such an amazing guest on. Her name is Daphne McDonagh, that's how you pronounce it, I believe. She's from Edmonton, Alberta, and she has such a powerful story to share with us. And I would love for everyone to take a listen and learn from her inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay, and my beautiful friends for having me here. I am so honored and not gonna lie, a little bit scared, but you and I both know that, our growth never comes from staying inside our comfort zone. Thank you both for pushing me off the ledge. I learned many years ago that my dreams would never manifest if I kept complaining about my current reality. So if you just let me tell you a little backstory. When I was 15, I was faced with a life-changing choice. I chose to come back from a massive closed head brain injury after being involved in a fatal car accident. They wanted to harvest my organs that night, but thankfully, my parents said no. When the doctors unplugged me from the full life support after 2 weeks, they didn't expect me to live. Do you guys have any kids? Do you two have any kids? I know you do, Deb. Jay,
I do.
Kids?
Yes, I do.
They told my parents that I would never come out of my coma. Well, I proved the doctors wrong 4 days later. 4 days later. I understand why they didn't tell my parents the best possible solution, but can you imagine being my parents? I can look back now and think, wow, I have no idea how they got through that. The doctors told my parents that they didn't expect much from me, that I'd be vegetable for the rest of my life. So, for a potato, I don't think I'm doing too bad. Honestly, now the reason I tell you this story is not for you to feel sorry for me, but quite the opposite. It's to spark a fire in you about perspective and choices. We can choose to stay stuck or we can move forward. So, I chose not to stay stuck. I chose to do what I had to do.
Thank you for sharing that, Daphne, and welcome to the show. My name is Jay Rothman, and I am so honored to have you here in the studio today. Your story is although it's a little different, it's not uncommon. There's probably millions of people that have had similar circumstances, perhaps with a different ending. But you're here to share how your story had a much different ending than many others do. And so for those of you that are joining us live today in the studio, in the community, thank you so much for joining us. If you catch us on replay, you're never too late, you're never too early, you're just on time. And we want to thank you and acknowledge you. Tommy Sharp, thank you for being here. Leandra, welcome to the show as well. And we also got Chris. Here? What's that?
I said Leandra's here.
She says, hi, Daphne. I'm just popping in to say hi, but I can't participate today. All the best. Well, hopefully she'll catch the replay.
Leandra Hardnail is a beautiful, beautiful soul who helped me on my healing journey. So thank you for coming, my dear.
Beautiful. And so, I'm sure Deb's heard your story before because you guys have been connected for some time, but this is all new to me. And she says, Linda Willis says, Daphne, did you have any experiences when you were in the coma?
You know what? Honestly, when I was in the coma, they had me on 5 cc's of morphine and 5 cc's of Demerol. I remember my parents saying to me, okay, this is the guy you got to show. Because apparently I could lift my finger a little bit when I was in my coma when they would ask me to. So they said, okay, this is the guy you got to show. Now, I remember that moment because I remember the doctor was standing at the end of my bed. I remember my mom was off to the right side. And she asked me to lift my finger, and I did. And both the doctor and my mother cried. I remember that. Do I have any out-of-body experiences from the car accident? Yes. But it's been 26 years and I don't really talk about them because it was such a traumatic experience. I don't need to go back there. I luckily have been published in the Sacred Hearts Rising anthology book series, and I talk about how the love of my life was killed 2 months before I was in my car accident. And he actually came, he was actually energetically there with me. And had I chose to leave, he would have helped me, but he he encouraged me to stay so that I could live the life that I'm living now with my soulmate, my husband of almost 20 years now. So that's, I mean, I guess those are the only experiences that I could talk about. Is there any other questions? I honestly can't see if there's any questions or statements. Or
Yeah, it's okay. And if any, as they pop on, if we can get to them, we'll do our best. And what we can't reach today, we'll invite you to go back through Facebook and answer questions once we're offline today or tomorrow. But one of you touched on one of the questions I had. She asked about the coma, and of course, I was going to go and ask what you recall from the time you were. From the time of the accident to the time you were in the ambulance and on the way to the hospital, because from what I read on your bio, you had said that the ambulance driver or someone, the medic in the ambulance, had actually radioed into the hospital that they anticipated that you will be DOA at the hospital. They did not think you were going to make it in the ambulance.
Right. Do I remember that? Consciously, I don't, but I believe subconsciously I do, because that's why I'm still here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got me to the hospital, and they told my parents that there was that I was not gonna ever come back. And my dad said, no, she's not done. Hook her up. So then they plugged me into full life support.
That's amazing. I remember in one of the stories you said that once you came out of the coma, your parents even brought your horse.
Yes. When I was at the Glen Rose Rehab, they used to bring dogs to the hospital for the kids. And I was 15 at the time, right? And so they used to bring dogs to the hospital for pet therapy for children. Well, they brought my horse. I had to go outside. Of course, they didn't let my horse in the hospital. But yeah, they brought my horse to the hospital so I could see her.
That's beautiful. That's the most healing energy I could ever imagine having.
Yes, it was amazing.
What was your horse's name?
Her name was Echo.
Echo. Oh, wonderful.
She was my barrel racing horse.
Hmm.
And it was so funny because she never stood still ever. But when she came to the hospital, she didn't move a muscle, because horses know.
Yeah, they know
that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They know.
Daphne, who do you credit? Who do you credit with saving your life?
Who do I credit with saving my life? Wow, that's a big question. Well, it's funny because when I tell the story of the accident, I say that we were broadsided and I was pulled from the vehicle. And people say, well, who pulled you from the vehicle? And I say, well, it all depends on what you believe. God, source, universal divine energy. I was not supposed to be there. Or maybe I was supposed to be there, but I was saved by a higher power. Yes.
And I remember you saying that you didn't have a seatbelt, right? You weren't wearing your seatbelt?
Right, which is very weird because I used to always wear my seatbelt. But had I been wearing my seatbelt that day, I definitely wouldn't have any legs, and I probably wouldn't be here today by looking at pictures of the car. You look like you have a question, Jay.
It's interesting because you went back to the moment of impact in reflection of when I asked you who saved your life. And yet that's not what I was feeling when I asked you the question. And
so what were you asking the question?
I'd like to share that with you. Is that,
please?
You mentioned your dad, that the day of when you were in the hospital, the doctors wanted to actually do some take your organs, and it was in that moment, I believe, if I understood you correctly, that your dad said, no, hook her up. She's not ready to leave us, or however he put it, but he had faith that you were not done, that you were gonna recover. Is that an accurate statement?
I would say that's an accurate statement. I mean, my parents knew that I was a persistent. I mean, some would have called me stubborn and pig-headed and all those negative words. Or you could have called me, you know, persistent and
Tenacious is a good
dedicated
one.
and determined,
Yeah.
whatever words. But they knew that yeah, I don't consciously remember, and I think that's a choice. Because at one point I said to my mom, I'd like to remember that time. And she started to cry and she said, no, don't. Because you're not only going to feel the pain that you felt, but you'll feel the pain that everybody else felt. And there was one time I went for a craniosacral therapy appointment and I felt that pain of everybody. And it was hard, like hard. So I choose to focus on the positive versus the negative. Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish it upon anybody, but I am thankful for every second.
That's wonderful.
So here's the other piece of that question for me was,
Okay.
there's that part of me that also was thinking you were going to say, well, I saved my own life, right? And then there's a part of me that's also feeling, that's coming from within, is like, it wasn't you or your dad, it was a higher power. Because ultimately, perhaps maybe you know, the divine, the higher power, God, whom, however you refer to it in your own life today, basically came through your dad, and it was through the divine that your life was saved, because it wasn't your time yet. So,
well, I joke with people, you know how when your number's called, somebody up in heaven had really bad handwriting and God came in to check the numbers for that day. No, it wasn't 222, it was 223, you know. So that's my joke about it.
Must have been the doctor with the really bad handwriting.
I don't know, but yeah,
couldn't read it.
That's my joke.
I love it.
Right. But
so
I mean,
what
I lived
happened
in pain.
now that you're
Pardon
in a
me?
hospital, you're on life support, and at what point did they decide to take you off of life support in the process? Because in your bio it said that when they took you off, there was a 99.8% chance that you would not survive. Was that correct?
Okay, so as far as I know and as far as I understand it, my prognosis didn't look good. I mean, I've seen letters from the hospital saying that my neurological prognosis was guarded due to my prognosis was guarded due to my neurological injuries in which I sustained. Like the face I made when I said that. So I mean, I can't wholeheartedly honestly say that there's a 99.8% chance, but it was not looking good, is what I'm saying. They didn't expect me to live. So I don't honestly remember. I just know the stories that I'm told.
Okay, beautiful.
Because I was blessed. My mom was brilliant, and she got books for people to write in when they came into the hospital to see me. So I know who all came in while I was in my coma. And I guess there was certain people that would come to the door of my room and my heart rate would go up or down because I knew they were there. I don't remember that, but apparently.
Of course.
I mean, I don't remember the hard part of it.
Yeah.
Like I say, I don't remember the hard part, but I mean, I had to do all the comeback, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of a oxymoron.
So what have you gained after that? Like what are you able to do now? Have you noticed any different things and modalities, and how are you helping? How did you help yourself, and how are you helping other people?
Well, I lived in pain for over 20 years. I really did. I tried everything. And I mean, I found some relief with chiropractic and massage and acupuncture, but it wasn't until I found magnets that I could live without pain. And people say, magnets? And I say, well, actually, it's really simple. It goes back to the earth, really. I mean, because of magnets have their positive and negative polarities, they counterbalance the positive and negative polarities of the body. So they stimulate the underactive organs and they sedate the overactive ones. It brings everything into balance. So when I found that out, my mind just went, oh, there's got to be more. So then I found the Healing with Crystals Therapy diploma course. And I was like, a kid in a candy store.
Hmm.
And it was funny because as I was doing the course, it was like reminders for me of things I already knew but didn't know. Does that make
Yeah.
sense, Jay?
Yeah, completely.
um, so I mean, I used to carry bags of rocks in my pockets and in my bras if I didn't have any pockets, and then I decided to no longer smoke, right? And I had a friend give me a pair of magnet earrings, and they were the best because he gave them to me. It was so cute. He said, "They'll balance your brain." I thought, perfect. They'll balance my brain because he knew what I had gone through, right? And I loved them and I wanted more, but they came from Phoenix. So I was like, I have magnets, I have crystals. What can I do to put them together to make earrings? So I went to Michael's and I got the stuff. And anyways, long story short, it kept my hands busy when I chose not to smoke anymore. And then I had like 40 pair of earrings, and my husband looked at me and he said, maybe you should show your friends. Maybe they might like to buy some. So I did, and they all were they just couldn't believe how awesome they were. And they suggested that I make bracelets and necklaces to go with them. So I kind of went, okay. And I mean, it's just everything. I love how everything has synchronistically fallen into place for me. Because with the magnets and with the jewelry, I was blessed to meet a lady who showed and shared with me the quantum wave cold laser, which is light therapy. And with that, then I also came in contact with an amazing man who has developed the sacred geometry tools. And so, I mean, the laser helps the body to unwind from the stress and dis-ease of life. The sacred geometry tools help to detach any, I like to say, hooks, cords, or entities, but my husband, it's so cute. He says, it takes your electromagnetic energy field from out here and it brings it back to here, and it ground centers and balances you.
Perfect.
So with the combination of the crystals, the cold laser therapy, and the sacred geometry tools, I'm able to live a life on purpose and without pain.
I'd like to go back to when you were in rehab. And fast
Yes.
forwarding, you're now through the, let's say you're out of the woods, and you're in rehab. And just to touch real quickly, you had to learn how to walk,
Yeah.
how to talk, how to
Yeah.
what, move your hands. Were you like basically like a newborn coming out?
Yeah. I was.
Okay.
I was.
So now you're in rehab. And I don't know, if you met anyone that was in a similar, let's say, either diagnosis or in the same space as far as having to rehab from an injury such as yours. But if you had, what was your experience as you navigated through that period of your life, going through rehab, having to relearn how to talk, how to walk, how to hold things, basically starting over? How did you see your progress compared to others in rehab? And what was your takeaway from that entire experience for you? It's a setup
Well,
question. I know it's a setup question, but go for it.
well, no, it actually, it's a great question, and it helps direct me because seriously, with head injury, there's a many stages of recovery that one goes through. And they would tell me that this is what you're going to go through next. And I'd laugh at them and say, yeah, whatever. But I always did. But when I first became conscious and started coming back and realizing that I couldn't.
Sorry.
Okay.
Somebody's home. Be merciful. I'll be right back.
Yeah. When I realized that I couldn't do what I used to do, I was very sad and I was very depressed and there's no point in living anymore, right? Part of me. But then I pushed through that, and like I told you guys before, it was the day I was in my complaining stage, and it was the day my dad said to me, Daphne, I used to complain that my feet hurt until I seen a man that had no feet. And it really put everything into perspective for me. Like, it sucked that I couldn't walk yet, but heck, I was in the best possible place to learn how to do that again. So I just needed to suck it up and get it done. People ask me, how did I get through it? And there wasn't another choice. I had to. I never even thought about not coming back because I wanted to ride my horse again. I wanted to go be outside. I wanted to be with my friends. I wanted to do my stuff. I was a 15-year-old teenager. I wanted to go and be and do. I didn't want to sit in the hospital because it really sucked. It really did. So does that answer your question, Jay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. Do you have any lingering limitations at this point beyond the normal ones that any other person has?
I joke when people ask me that question. I do a tick, and I say I only tick every now and again. I mean, yes, yeah, I would say yes, I do, but again, I don't focus on the limitations. Disability to me is a different ability. I might not be able to do something one way, but damn sure I'm going to figure out how to do it another way. That's just there's no such thing in my life as you can't. I might not be able to do it the way that somebody else showed me, but I'll figure out a way to make it happen.
Beautiful. What about the emotional, mental side? Because we're focused so much on the limitations, the damage that, having to come back from the physical aspect of the injury. You did mention there was a point where emotionally you were in a dark space, you were ready to give up, and then your dad hit you with that profound wisdom that seemed to really help step you up and out of that space. But moving beyond that, after that kind of lit you back up, have you had to go through some type of emotional healing journey beside the physical? And what has that been like?
Yes. Yes. I mean, unless you have gone through what I have gone through, there would be no way to explain it. And it's like an onion and layers, right? Just when I think I get one thing fixed, something else pops up. I have done a lot of work, emotionally, physically. For a lot of years, I was in a lot of pain. But then I figured out the tools to use to release them and let them go and erase the cellular memory of the injury, the physical injuries, and erase the memories of the in my brain, like the cellular memory of injuries, both emotionally and physically. Yeah, I'm not sure how to answer that question, but yes,
I think you did. I think you did a beautiful job. Thank you for that. How are you feeling right now as we sit here and you've gone back and all? How are you feeling physically and emotionally in this moment right now? Are you okay?
Actually, funny enough, this morning my left shoulder was giving me a little bit of grief, and I'm not sure what that's about, but obviously it's an energetic something or other. Did you see my eyes roll when I said that? I am feeling good. I honestly feel better today than I did 26 years ago. I mean, okay, so maybe not 26 years ago, but I feel physically and emotionally better today than I have since my car accident.
Okay.
I am in such a good space now that I just want to share what I do with the world. And it's funny because I always said I came back from this to show people that there's hope. To show people that, yeah, bad shit can happen. Sorry, I shouldn't swear, but yes, okay. Bad stuff can happen. But I mean, I say if you make the choice to make it through, then it doesn't matter. No obstacles can stand in your way. So it was so cute. It was funny one day. One person was trying to explain who I am and what I do. And they said, you know how there's that fly that keeps hitting the window? Keeps hitting the window, that keeps hitting the window, that keeps hitting the window. You're the person that just keeps moving until you can get past that window.
Beautiful.
I had somebody tell me, I actually had never thought about it, but with the world of coaches right now, Not that being a coach is a bad thing. Being coaches are great. But I mean, so from the hospital, I went back to high school and I graduated high school, and that was hard. But then I went and worked for a little while, and I decided that I wanted to go into the rehab field to help people who had disabilities come back from those disabilities, because I figured I did it, I could help others do it. So I worked in that field for 8 years until I realized that not everybody wants to get better. And that one was hard for me to learn. But while working in that field, that's when I found the crystals and all the other tools in my life. So sorry, I'm kind of jumping around, but
It's okay, because that was going to be my next question. I was going to lead you right into your experience in working in rehab, because we shared that before the show. You had shared that little tidbit with us, and I want to ask you, what do you think? Do you have any sense of what was behind that for those that you just clearly stated some people just don't want to get better? What do you think's behind that? Why do you think some people don't want to get better? Why are they in rehab? Or what do you think? What was the difference between you and them?
difference between me and them. Everybody is different. I wasn't gonna stay there. I knew there was more for me. I knew that I came back for a reason, and I knew that I had to pull my head out of my proverbial butt and get my stuff in order. Others don't know that there's another way, because they've never been shown that there's another way. I mean, nobody told me that there was AISH when I was a kid. Like, I mean, maybe if somebody would have told me that, I wouldn't have rehabilitated so well. I'm just saying. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding, because I'm grateful that AISH is there for people that can't, that are unable to function in society as others are. And I'm not comparing myself to others. I'm just stating facts. I believe that maybe some don't want to get better because they don't know that there's a choice.
Yeah.
For
They don't
me,
think
there
it's a
was
choice.
no other. Pardon me?
I said they don't know that it is a choice. They just think, oh, this
Right.
is what I've been dealt, and that's what is going to happen because I've been told this.
Right. And for so many years, if somebody's been told that they can't walk, guess what?
They're not going to want.
Right. I mean, I worked with many people who had disabilities, and there was one lady. My mom just sent me question marks. I think she wants to know what I'm doing. Anyways, if somebody could share this live on my page, that would be awesome, by the way, because I don't know how to do that right now. But I'm sorry, what was the question? See, this is my problem.
Oh, you were talking about a lady that you were working with.
Oh, a lady that I used to work with who had multiple disabilities, and she was told that she would never walk again. When I finished working with her, she was starting to walk by herself again.
It's all about what you
people
believe.
Say you
right?
can't. Pardon me?
It's all about what you believe.
When people tell me I can't do something, I say, watch me.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, honestly, Jay, right now I'm nervous as heck because I'm so self-critical of myself, watching myself on camera. So I'm not even looking at myself. I'm looking at you two right now, so I don't even see myself. Because I mean, I know I have a very expressive face, but that's who I am. And that's what makes me me. So I see the questions turning in your head, Jay.
You did you're by the way, it's on your timeline. So it's coming on.
Thank you.
In your timeline. So part of you were in rehab working in the business for 8 years, and you exited out. You alluded to the fact that at some point you just were somewhat discouraged by some of the people and their attitude, and it sounds like you just got frustrated by the experience, and you felt like there was other ways that you could be of service to other people. And what was that defining moment for you, and where did it take you to?
Oh, you're gonna laugh at this because it's funny. The defining moment for me, surprisingly enough, is I had done a workshop that I had done 4 or 5 times before, and I should have been able to pass it, not a problem, with my eyes closed. It was a nonviolent crisis intervention course. I failed it miserably, like miserably. Like I was like, okay, you know what? I can't, this is not what I'm supposed to do. And as I was working in the rehab field, I had done my healing with crystal therapy diploma, and I had done my animal science diploma, and I was done in the rehab field, and then I decided to go work in a bank. Because, I figured I was helping people in a bank, so I worked in a bank. I went from rehab to banking. So.
And what did you learn?
Like the next logical choice?
What did you learn from working in the bank? Obviously, there's a reason why you worked there, right?
Well, it was working in the bank that my friend gave me those magnet earrings.
So there you go.
Right? So that person helped me. And actually, while I was working in the bank, I was talking about how I wanted to share my story. One of my customers, actually, he's an editor of a magazine, and I was helping him one day, and he said, I'm looking for people with inspirational stories. And I chuckled, and I said, oh, what kind of inspirational stories? And he said, well, people that have come back from car accidents and are doing well in society. And I chuckled, and I said, I might have a story for you. So that's kind of what started me on my moving forward, right? And that's what started me with the jewelry and the sharing it with the friends. And then people recommended, well, maybe you should go to markets. So I went to different markets and sold my stuff and shared my abilities with others. And like I said to you the other day, Deb, I don't want people to rely on me. I want to empower and encourage people to take care of themselves.
So what is your title right now? What would you say your title is?
Oh my goodness. I have a few, actually.
I'd love to hear them all.
Pardon me?
I'd love to hear them all.
Well, let me hang on. Let me pull up this piece of paper. No, I'm kidding. I say that I'm a rehabilitation wellness practitioner. I'm an animal communicator. I'm an energy coach. I'm an author. What am I missing?
A beautiful soul.
Well, thank you. I don't know. I'm not sure what else I should share, really.
So you managed to be able to finish high school. You went and took courses. You didn't let that define you. I think that is just incredible that you went back to school and you wanted to help other people what you've been through. And I think that's just incredible, especially after such a big injury in your head and you weren't even supposed to come back, and you were able to learn and like some people come back and they limit themselves to just, oh, I can walk. Yeah. Good, yay! But
it's cute because people say to me, "Well, are you going to do that skydiving fundraiser thing?" And I laugh. No, I'm good. I'm good.
I'll do it for you. I'll step out of the plane for you.
Perfect.
Yeah,
perfect. The best course that I did when I was in the rehabilitation practitioner program was the brain injury course. It was so funny because nobody in the class knew, right? And I had to do an essay on brain injury. It was perfect. I got 100%. It was awesome.
Wonderful.
So, do you have any other questions for me, Jay?
Of course. I'm just warming up here, Daphne. I want to go back just for a second and just kind of nail it down. Is you said something before the show, and I just want to paraphrase you. You said that one of the reasons that you were so disenchanted with some of your experience at the rehab was that people get stuck in this story. Yeah. And I love that, because whatever your story, your backstory is, whatever limitations you are facing because of a diagnosis and a prognosis, we, at least in North America, I'm not going to speak globally, and we are a global community here, but at least my experience is that through Western medicine, we tend to accept and buy not only the diagnosis, but we embrace the prognosis. So if they say you got 6 months to live, the likelihood that if you accept that, you're going to die at 6 months. If they tell you you're going to have all of these lingering disabilities due to a car accident, and unless you don't accept this story, the prognosis from the doctor, most likely you're going to end up just, that story becomes your label. It defines who you are.
Mhm.
And I loved when you stated that you were not willing to accept your storyline. And that's really where tremendous courage and motivation, I think, is what separates someone like yourself from those that would rather just kind of go into that victim mentality and just hold on to that story for the rest of your life. And I just want to take a moment to honor you for that, because
Thank you.
Whether it's you who has an amazing story of life, or someone that has been diagnosed with cancer, or someone like myself who was diagnosed with nine different diagnoses, some of them very, very, very dangerous, and refusing to accept my prognosis. Someone like John Fiore, I'd like to take a moment just to acknowledge him here today. John is a dear friend of both Deb and I. He is active in his own recovery, healing, and he pays it forward and is a practitioner of EFT, but morally focused on, John had two strokes just around a year ago, just over a year ago. And he is been working very hard to rehabilitate himself and not hold on to the prognosis. And so if you could take a moment here to talk to John in this moment, because he's here with us live. I know he has been today. What would you say to John? Because there are days that he's just struggles emotionally and physically as he's working through rehabbing, his coming back from his limitations. What would you say to John? What will you say to John right now?
You are never alone. Never, never, never. If you want to reach out to me, please do. That's actually something else. Yeah, but you will get through it. Take a deep breath. Sometimes in life, I wrote a bit of a poem at one point, and I can't remember exactly, but you may not see the tangle of roots. There's a beautiful tree, and you may not see the tangle of roots that lie beneath the surface. But we wouldn't be what we are without those roots. It's what makes the tree grow, right? So even though things may twist and turn, and like you coming back from your recovery, John, yes, sometimes it sucks, but you can see the goal at the end of the tunnel. Yes, please know that you are never alone. Just know in your heart. Take a deep breath and reach out. Somebody will be there to provide support that you need. There you go. There it is.
Can I read it? This is her story. This is just a little bit. Roots is the chapter she has in Sacred Hearts Rising in the first edition. And it's when you see a beautiful tree out in nature, you may not see the twisted tangle of roots that lie beneath the surface. This vibrant tree would not be what it is without these roots. Although the roots may twist and turn, they have provided the tree with what it needs to grow. Such is life. There may be many twists and turns along the way, but that is what we draw our best experiences from. When life gets difficult, take deep breath and know that everything will work itself out. It always does.
That's a phrase that I live by. There's always lots of things going on in my life, in your life, in everybody's lives that aren't perfect. But oh my God, I'm so happy and grateful. Today, for example, I got up and kept saying, I'm so happy and grateful for. I'm so happy and grateful for my house. I'm so happy and grateful for my heat. I'm so happy and grateful for my warm shower. I'm so happy and grateful for the food in my fridge. The more things that I'm happy and grateful for, the more things that I can be happy and grateful for will come into my life. And I know that. It's true. And yeah, I'm grateful every day. I wake up with gratitude in my heart every day. I wake up saying thank you. I go to sleep saying thank you. And I believe that's how more of us could live if we chose to live that way. I don't use the word should. I stopped shoulding myself a long time ago. Yep.
Because I just add shame and guilt.
Yeah. I stopped shoulding myself a long time ago, and it took me a long time to learn, but I learned that if I could not change the outcome of something, then I didn't worry about it. If I could change the outcome, then I did what I had to do to make it happen. But if I couldn't change the outcome of how something was going to happen, I just let it go and didn't worry about it. It made my life a lot easier. Just saying.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it's funny. I posted yesterday on my timeline asking just a general question. What are you in gratitude for today? And I had an overwhelming number of people that participated in answering that question. Yep. I think I'm almost up to just under 200 people. And what a beautiful exchange, you know. I mean, you know, and the beautiful thing about it is that some of the responses were like really big things, big gratitude moments, and others were small. But it doesn't, you know, we don't have to measure big or small. It's just that we can acknowledge that there's something, even if it's the smallest thing, that we can be in gratitude for in this moment, because that just may mean that we're struggling with other issues or challenges in life today. But when we're able to reach for that gratitude moment every single day, that we are blessed with just today, then our day gets better, you know, and it puts us in its proper perspective. And I wore this shirt for you today. I wore this shirt today for you. I was going to wear a different shirt that was going to say choose hope or choose gratitude. There's so many, or choose courage. But I chose this one. I chose this one because in one of your posts, you said something about you were going to come on a show to talk about forgiveness and healing. And we haven't touched on forgiveness. And, you know, I kind of did one of those, you know, doggy cock heads, like, really? Like, what kind of forgiveness do you have to work on, or have you worked on as it related to your accident? And are you willing to answer that question?
Forgiveness. I forgave myself for choosing this experience. The car accident, I mean, in relative terms, they would say that the car accident was my mother's fault. I never blamed her. Ever blamed her. Even though I know that she probably did for many years. I know that she's been able to move past that now, and she knows that everything is okay. But I never blamed anybody for that. It was an experience, and it brought me to where I am today.
Beautiful.
Would you like me to elaborate on that?
No, it's good. It's good. It's right where you're at. Thank you for sharing that. And
yeah, like everything in my life is something that I have chosen, and how I deal with it is my choice.
Exactly.
Nobody makes me happy or sad.
But
it's my choice.
I wanted to touch a little bit on the laser. I think you have it with you, that cool light laser. And can you go into a little bit of detail of how that helped you and how it helped other people?
Well, I at the time that the laser came into my life, it's actually the quantum wave cold laser. It has red, infrared, and violet light in it. And I mean, if you want me to go into detail, I can go into detail after. If somebody's wanting to know more about it, I can definitely fill you in. But the different light and the different frequencies of light do different things. I have helped many people, both in people and animals, both in person and distantly, with the light therapy. The laser that I have in my hand right now actually is the violet laser, which works on the deeper emotional and auric field. And actually, what I'll do is I'll put it on. Actually, okay, Jay might like this one. I'll put it on unwind. You feel that, Jay? I mean, I could point you right at the camera. And
yeah, go for it. Blind us. It's okay.
It's not blinding. This is the unwind frequency. This is the frequency of the earth. And with the therapies that I do, I use in combination with the quantum wave cold laser and sacred geometry tools, and then my different energy modalities that I also use. I help the body to unwind from stress and dis-ease. I help the person's adrenal glands slow down so that their tailbone sciatic drops back down, which, you know, alleviates the hip, the nerve, hip, the knee, and the joint pain. And It just helps the body to relax and unwind and be open to receiving the healing that it needs.
Now with you helped me. You came over to my house and you did something. I don't know what it was called. Do you want to explain what you did? Because it really helped me.
Okay. Well, you know what I love about you, Deb, is you didn't even ask what I was going to do. This is the miracle frequency, by the way. And this frequency to me, I don't know, it feels like a big old hug. Jay, What are you feeling, buddy? What are you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling a big hug.
I'm buzzing right now.
You're buzzing. Okay, so
I feel like this buzzing sensation in my body, like it's like I'm feeling just in my, even right to my fingertips. I'm feeling just this almost like a numbness of sorts, if that makes any sense.
That's completely normal. This is how I help people distantly. I take a picture. I take their picture. Actually, I'll tell everybody in a minute, Deb, what I do.
Yeah.
I take the laser, and then I have a sun ring. This is a sun ring, and then I have crystals that I put on the sun ring, smoky quartz and a clear quartz crystal, and then I put a triple pyramid over the person's picture with the laser, and I send the distant healing energy to the person that's intended for. It's truly, truly, truly amazing, and I have people that can swear by it left, right, and center. So, but what I did for you, Deb, was I came to your house and my treatments have morphed, and I now call them release and let go sessions. So I had you write a list of the things that you'd like to release, that you don't want to carry with you anymore. And so I had you lay down on the couch, and I put the neutralization ring under the couch with the quantum wave laser on unwind, to unwind your body. Mm-hmm. So could you please maybe share what that was like for you?
It was definitely empowering by knowing that you could help me, by just knowing that there is a way to let go of what I didn't even know I was holding on to, like emotionally, physically. I was holding on to a lot of things that I didn't realize. I'm just so used to hanging on to feelings and emotions, and it's just natural for me, I think for everybody. But to be able to be on the therapy couch, because that's what my couch is basically, but to be there and to just let go and know that you're able to release everything for me, that was just amazing.
So, and when the 20-minute unwind session is done, then I have the person burn the list. Jay, they burn the list and they blow the ashes into the air. So it's kind of a ritualistic, ceremonial, however you want to look at it, but it works.
Once you see it physically burning the list that you don't want, it does release it. It's just that extra step of like, oh wow, it's gone. I don't remember what I wrote down.
It's true. Yeah. And when you try to remember, you're like, why am I trying to remember? I don't need this. It's gone.
Yes.
So then if people are dealing with physical injuries, I switch it to the pleo frequency, which is a frequency to detoxify and put all the cells back into their proper hexagonal formation. Would you like to feel that one, Jay? Mm-hmm. Would you like to feel that one?
Yeah, I can switch it to that.
To feel it.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
Well, okay. So this is the relieve frequency. This is relieve. So if people have muscle issues and stuff, I use this one sometimes, or the pleo frequency. The pleo frequency is the frequency I find to be the best. Now I could tell you stories upon stories about how this has helped people, but then I use the sun ring, a big sun ring, and I put the laser in the sun ring for Deb. And then I also have a clear quartz crystal that I use. And with the energy modalities that I use, when she was unwinding, I use the crystal in my left hand to pull the negative energy out, and it's awesome because it does it every time. It's been counterclockwise for me, so like it's unscrewing or unwinding the tension that the person is carrying, and then when it's pushing in the positive, it goes clockwise. So Deb, if you could please tell Jay about what that was like for you, that would be epic.
Like lefty loosey, righty tighty, right?
Exactly.
That's how I remember. That was incredible. I felt on cloud number 11, not even number 9. It was like I was floating almost. Just the energy coming in was just, it was mine for sure, but I didn't know I even possessed it. She just let me realize that I was hanging on to the negative. Now it's time to come into my own power, basically. it was definitely, I'm not used to, there's no hocus pocus about it at all either. I grew up in a very conservative religious family, and this was just what it was. It was a treatment. It was a treatment, just like going to a counselor or to a naturopath or going to a chiropractor or going to a doctor for different things. And this is my emotions that needed to be more on a inner depth level, needed to be released and let go of, and it felt pretty amazing.
Well, thank you.
Daphne, are these sessions, can they be done remotely and get the same results? Or let's say you get 10 out of 10 when you're physically with a person, does it drop to 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10? Or what has your experience been?
My experience has been whatever needs to get fixed, I can help.
Okay. All right. Now, if someone has, let's say someone has a debilitating knee injury, and the diagnosis is you need to have your knees replaced. Is this something that can help you prevent needing surgery, or have you had an experience with?
Possibly. It all depends on the person, right? Because knee injuries are all about, energetically speaking, about people not wanting to move forward and wanting to be where they are. So if they're ready to dive in and release the energetic stuckness of stuff. My mom, for example, had a shoulder injury because she played competitive darts for years. She used the laser for a month, and she's no longer on the list for surgery.
Beautiful.
And it was funny because she was using it for her sinuses too. Her vision improved. She had to get new glasses.
That's
I
amazing.
can honestly tell you, I could tell you stories. Distantly, there was a dog once that had surgery that wasn't walking. And my friend said, "Do you think you could help this dog?" I said, "I could try." A week later, this dog was running around like a puppy again. I helped a dog in Calgary that had canine parvovirus that wasn't supposed to live. That's still here. Just trying to think of physical injuries for people. I had a friend who's a taxidermist who cut her hand really bad, and I treated her distantly, and the scar's almost gone now. But yes, it all depends on the person.
Yeah, how open
really
you are to
does.
receive. Yeah, beautiful. How open you are to receive.
Yeah.
Well, not even necessarily how open you are to receive it. I actually like helping people that don't know I'm helping them, for the simple fact that they get better and they're like, "I don't know how I got better." But I just sit back and chuckle.
Then what's behind that? What is behind that
sorry?
then? If it's not about being open to receive, then why does it help some and not others?
Everybody is different, right?
Okay.
Some people's bodies want to hang on to the stuff, and some people's bodies want to let go.
Gotcha.
Also, like Tylenol 3 it doesn't work for me. Morphine doesn't work for me. Dilaudid doesn't work for me when I was in surgery. It's just different. I guess different things work for different people, right?
There you go. I've got a friend who had back surgery again, who's having problems, and she reached out to me. Oh, I just pulled my headphone out. Sorry. She reached out to me and asked me to do some distant sessions on her. She's no longer in ICU because she's rehabilitating now.
Beautiful.
Emotionally, I think that it helps majorly. Like from what happened to me, I was trying to, I don't know why, but I was hanging on to the story without realizing it. Now I can talk about it without any adverse effects on me. I'm also doing a lot of tapping with that. That helped a lot with Monfiore, but emotionally, you've really, really, really been able to help.
Thank you. And that's what I love most about what I do, because there are so many different options available to so many different people for so many different things. And not everything is going to work for everybody. But there are so many complementary modalities that are available. This is what works for me. And this is why I share with people what works for me.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's how we do it. That's how
And
we do it.
this is a necklace that Daphne made for me. I ordered it, and it has Dalmatian jasper and what else?
Citrine and magnets.
And magnets. The little hands. They're so cute. They're little magnet hands.
Oh, beautiful.
I do that because then people wearing my stuff get a hug from me every day.
I love it.
So if people want to get hold of you, Daphne, could you let us know how and where they can reach out to you? And maybe when you go back through Facebook, you could post it as well. Just tag it in a comment.
For sure. www.daphneshealinghands.com. So do you want me to spell that? DAPHNES and then healinghands.com. I have a Facebook page, and I love the picture that I have on my Facebook page because it's all about building the person you want to be. You get to choose, right? Who do you want to be? What's your choice?
Yeah.
I can help. It's cute because I had somebody come up to me one day and she said, "You're the map." And I laughed. I said, "I'm the map." "I'm the map." And she said, "You're the map." And I said, "Oh, are you saying that I can help you navigate you navigate the map to your health and wellness? Like help you navigate the way to get there?" And she's like, "Yes, you're the map." And I'm like, "Okay."
Beautiful.
So
she got it. She got it. That's amazing.
And I had no idea who this person was, but she just looked at me. She's like, "You're the map." I thought it was cute. I thought it was sweet.
You were the roadmap for her. You know, with what little time we have left, because we're just about at the high noon hour here.
Holy cow! Already? Wow.
It is amazing. I just want to take another moment just to thank those that joined us live. We do have a global reach. We are an international community, and Debbie and I are so grateful for that. We have Gerhard coming in from South Africa. We have Lisa, who has been a prior guest on our show. She's coming in from the UK, just outside of London, about an hour or so. We have D. Donald Schur coming in from Prescott, Arizona. Amy Hicks coming in from the Midwest. We have Rita Marie, who also was a guest on the show with Debbie and I, coming in from Canada. And we have, as we mentioned, John Fiore was coming in from New Jersey. We had Sharon coming in from New York, Long Island, and Arlene coming in from the state of Florida. Those are the ones that I could see because they're friends of mine in the community. I know that there are many other people that have jumped in and watched all or part of the show. And what I'd like to do with what time we do have left, Daphne, is perhaps maybe you could just put a nice gift wrap paper and a bow on the show and just share your closing thoughts that may help someone that needs to hear something that you have to say. Just share some closing thoughts on.
Oh my, I wish I would have had something written down.
I like it better this way because this way it comes from your soul. So just let it flow.
When we come together, we are stronger. There are more and more people waking up. It's so funny because I was doing crystal jewelry before crystal jewelry was even cool, right? There's more and more people waking up and seeing their greatness because each one of us has greatness within. We just need to allow our light to shine. I'm here to help and encourage, like I said, I'm here to encourage people and empower them by fanning their flames to grow brighter. When we come together, we're stronger. I'm not, if anybody has any questions about what I do or how I could possibly help you, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook or my website. I mean, I do have an Instagram page, but I'm not going to lie, I don't use it very much. But best way to reach me is Facebook or my website. I'll get the emails if you send me a contact, something or other. I'm not sure what else I can share, Jay. Okay, so here we go. I am so happy and grateful that I get to help animals and people to release and let go what they no longer need to carry so that they can live a life on purpose and without pain too. Please let me help you on your healing journey.
That's perfect. The song that popped into my head was "Come Together" by the Beatles. Come together right now.
Right now.
Right?
Over me.
Right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
over
all
me.
about, there's no competition. People say, well, aren't you worried about all the other people that are doing the same thing? No, actually, I'm not. Because it's not about competition. It's about collaboration.
Yes.
And when we come together, I mean, the vibration is raised.
Yeah.
We
It's
don't
beautiful.
need trauma to raise the vibration. Let's just raise the vibration with love. Oh, that's a
love.
good one.
Love, love, love is all you need, right?
Deb, how about you? What do you got? What do you want to close this out with? And then I'll have some parting thoughts as well.
Yeah, definitely. Just we all go through, like Daphne said, we go through shit. Everyone has their own pile that they've had to dig through, and sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's stinky, and you got to do it. But when we have to be able to want to heal first thing, and maybe do something a little bit out of your comfort zone, because there's so many different ways than what we're told can help us. So if you feel a little bit uncomfortable with it, that might mean that you might need to try it. But go outside of your comfort zone a little bit and just dip your toe in if you need to. Just try a little bit different and just see what happens. Because ever since I've been able to let go of the uncomfortable feeling, or actually go into my uncomfort, things have just been blossoming, and people have been coming into my life, and I've been able to help other people because of it. So just if it feels uncomfortable, what you resist the most is mostly what you need the most. So what I was resisting was anything spiritual or like anything like that, and I was like, no, and then I'm like, nah, okay, I need to go into that, and that's where I am today. So just do what makes you uncomfortable. Sometimes it's okay to be uncomfortable.
So Jay,
Thank you,
what are you
Deb.
going to wrap us up with? I want to say thank you to both.
What's that?
I said I want to say thank you. Thank you to
You're
both
so
of you
welcome. You're so
for
welcome.
helping me to share my story.
I just want to close out just by acknowledging you. You are just an amazing human being, a beautiful woman who defied all the odds that the best, smartest doctors that were available in the moment that you were brought in to die. You said, no, thank you. I refuse to accept this prognosis, even when they took you off of life support. And therein lies the truth about living and about choices we have in life.
Yeah.
You clearly chose to not accept the prognosis. And look at the life you have created for yourself today. And not only have you come back, as John Fiore would say, the comeback kid, but you are paying it forward. You want and love to help others on their healing journey. And you have such wisdom that you shared today at such a young age. I was 54 when I hit my bottom and started to have my awakening. And what a gift that you've been given to yourself and to others to share. And I just honor you, and I thank you so much for coming on live today and sharing your story, because I know that there are millions of people in this moment that are suffering, that have gotten a very grave prognosis today or yesterday. And whether it be physical, emotional, whatever it is, we don't have to live in the story. We don't have to believe the prognosis. We don't have to live in the yeah buts. We don't have to live in the I'm a victim, my life just sucks. We can be change makers. We just have to be willing to show up and understand that it's a choice to stay right where you're at and accept what a doctor tells you. Or you could push back and say, absolutely not. I refuse to accept this, and I want to live the best version of my life that's available to me, and get busy. And that's what you did. And I love you for that. And I'm so glad that you were willing to come on our show and share your story today. And I hope to see you again.
I'm blessed. Thank you.
And with that, have a beautiful day. Do some self-care, no matter where you're at in your day today. Even if it's 10 minutes, take some time for self-care, because what I've learned is self-care was a gateway to self-love. And, go ahead.
I was going to say, I wish when I say goodbye to people, I don't say goodbye. I tell people to have a magical day.
That's
I don't
beautiful.
say have a great day or have a good day. I say have a magical day. Because
Yeah.
magic happens all around us at all times. So go create the magic that you want in your life.
That's beautiful. Also, next week, tune in. We have an amazing guest, Joy Zylstra. She's a really dear friend of mine. She was burned 45% of her body when she was 8 years old in a cabin explosion, and we have something really amazing in common. So stay tuned for Sunday.
Awesome.
And it's a wrap. Hey, so if
Have
you
a
can
great day.
stay in the studio for just a few minutes so we can just do a after show wrap up. But thank you those for joining us live on a replay. Have a beautiful day, and we'll catch you next time on Real People, Real Stories Raw. Thank you.
Thank you.